when I came to my first meeting as a brand new homeless liaison, just having been given that role and thinking, what in the world does that mean? I don't even know what I'm doing or where I am or what is going on. So I want to encourage you guys, if you are in that spot and you feel that way, don't worry, you are in great hands. NCHUP has so many resources for you. They are so supportive and they will give you what you need to be able to do your job and do it well.
So he was basically like outside homeless with Dad. And then the person who took over owning the house has let them come inside, but only until they sell it. So they've got about 2 weeks, and then they have to be out. So we called every single housing person on the DSS list, and everybody is full. We did fill out a transitional housing form. They're on a year wait list.
They have been shelter hopping for a period of time and had some incidents at a particular shelter, and then they ended up at one of our local hotels. Our special needs department, our EC department, has been really working close with that family. And if we have enough drivers, maybe we can do like we've been trying to talk about and have one bus that's specifically for our McKinney-vento students and our alternative students.
If anything happens at school, they have an accident, they know they can come and get a new uniform, in a sense, be able to have that. So it gives them that opportunity. At least they know, like, okay, I'm going to be okay, rather than worrying. Because we have so many kids that come and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is my only shirt, or this is my only pair of pants.
So just to be there as a support for them, whether it's getting them clothing or food or helping with housing and transportation and getting into school, looking for jobs. We're not just here just to assist just the students, but the support that we give to the adults.
Our family's experiencing homelessness or transient, so summer we often lose track of them, and this gives us a great opportunity for us to stay connected and make sure that they have resources that they need, make sure they're ready for next school year. We want to give them that stability, so we also want to make it fun. We want this to be an enjoyable experience for our kids. We want them learning. There's an academic component, but we really want them to enjoy their summer.
We have 6 elementary schools in our school district, and we bring kids from each of those schools together for the Summer Wonder program. And so it's amazing to see, like, even in just a short span of time, the friendships that they make together. It's really fun to watch the kids kind of pair together, even the older students with the little students they work. This gives them an opportunity to be engaged in something fun over the summer, to get them out of whatever living arrangement they might be in. And, that could look like a one room in a hotel. That could look like an apartment that already has another family with multiple children in there. It might even be an apartment where they don't send the kids outside to play just because of the safety and supervision aspects. So the parents are also really appreciative, like, okay, my child has an outlet. It might only be those 10, 12, 16 days, but they have somewhere to go, somewhere to be with trusted adults, kids to have fun with, learn, get some other experiences. The parents are really grateful for this opportunity.
We've been fortunate to be able to get some Walmart gift cards with the art monies that we have gotten.
We try to put these in the visible places where parents might see it. Our paper products are donated, so because we can't purchase these types of items with our federal funding.
They can't keep their stuff. Like they lose stuff because they're getting evicted, or they don't have ways to store it, or any place like that. So that seems to be an issue too, because I have like some families that have some kids, and it's like I feel like we've given them so many clothes and so much stuff, but they've been chronically homeless for so long that, you know, and they're only in a hotel or in a room in someone's house or something. So if there's safety issues like that, you can't, like, if they're true safety issues, you can't stay there. That's not stable. That's not. So that's been coming up a lot this year as well.
One of the first things that I did when I became a liaison is I developed a needs assessment so that when the families come, they sit down with the social worker. We have amazing social workers here in Robinson County, and they are the point of contacts at the school. So they sit down with that social worker and they fill out the needs assessment, and then they know what to work on with the family. So to know that we have that many children in this county that are having housing insecurities was very shocking to me, as well as other people in the community. People are not aware of how many families are really struggling. Yes, ma'am. So about 40% of our community is American Indian, and so the tribe helps out with housing, vouchers, transitional housing. They have been a huge help in making sure that we get families resources that they need.
Most of our families are sharing housing with relatives, friends, and it's one of those things where you have to ask that question, okay, well, if your brother kicked you out and was angry at you, where would you go? And most of them would not have another place to go. And most of my family's experience doubled up. Well, if they're doubled up or sharing housing with somebody, that's not HUD's definition of homelessness. So according to the standards that we have to go by to get some of the resources, you know, they have to be sleeping in a place that's not meant for sleeping, or sleeping in a car, or in a hotel that is paid for by another organization. So if the parents are paying for the hotel, that, you know, kind of pushes them out of the qualifications. But the moment a church or another organization pays for that hotel, then I can refer them to some other resources. And so it doesn't happen very often with my families because most of them are doubled up. But the moment I have this situation where we have churches that are paying for the hotel, I try to jump on it and get them those resources.
Because they're mobile students, they migrate from usually Florida back to North Carolina. It creates a lot of barriers to their graduation. So our program is really focused on eliminating those barriers and getting them to graduate. Some of these students don't have adequate transportation either, and McKinney-Vento can provide some of those resources that maybe we can't. We do partner with the Boys and Girls Club of Henderson County, and it provides after-school care programming as well as transportation to the club and home. And we also have a large population of out-of-school youth between the age of 16 and 22 that we provide services for.
Sometimes those migrant farm workers come through with their families. Most often they do. And so we're not just reaching out and trying to keep the farm workers well, we're also trying to keep their families well. We are able to reach young people through the migrant farming program and also through the schools. So we pull all of this together and try and keep the whole family well, whether they're here for just a few months or decide to stay here permanently. We have a street outreach program that does work with people who are experiencing homelessness.
One family from last school year was a migrant family, and they had to leave a home where they were staying. They moved to a hotel. Then they were doubled up with a family who was in subsidized housing, so they could only stay there for a certain amount of time. And then they moved to another home, and we worked closely with the migrant ed contact at that school to make sure we were able to get them bus transportation so that they didn't have to switch schools.
Given the right support, kids who feel like they have no hope end up making really big decisions and big plans for themselves. This student had decided they were not going to school. They thought they had no future. But we actually got them involved in our new drone piloting license program, and they got really interested in that and started making great grades. They decided to go to a 2-year school and pursue like how to use their drone piloting license, and I think he's decided he's going to be a surveyor.
It's not a pretty sight when you have families camping in tents, but we do supply them with the needs, with blankets and hand warmers and everything we can, and ask for donations from our local churches and businesses to help get them the supplies that they would need to make it through the winter with their kids.
Most of you, this is not going to be your only role. You're McKinney-Vento liaison, but you're also the foster care point of contact, and you might be the data manager, and you might also be the counselor or the social worker or the principal, or I don't know what else, but you have a lot of other things that you do. And so this is like one piece of the pie that kind of, will take up some of your time, but will also be super rewarding, and I think you'll find that you get what you need from this agency in order to do your job well.
It's very hard for me to know that there's a child in a car and then I go home and get into my bed at night. So luckily, so far, we have been able to house every family that has come across our, on our radar. So, and it may not be the best case scenario, but they're not out in the element and they're able to get a shower and, have a bed to sleep on. I can't imagine us not taking care of our children. And if it takes me and the village, which I really do think it's a village here, taking care of these kids, that keeps me going.